welcome back to Era Military Collectibles. So in today's video what we're doing is we're looking at a beret, and the beret that we're looking at is of the Irish Rangers of the Irish Defence Forces, or the ARW, or Fignogloch na Eram, which is their Irish title. It is the Special Operations of the Irish Defence Forces, which is the military of Ireland. In 2023 it was renamed to the Irish or Ireland Special Operations Force, but it's still known as the Rangers or the Ranger Wing. The Rangers recruit from the Irish Army, the Naval Service and the Air Corps, and it has its own selection course. It answers directly to the Chief of Staff of the Defence Forces. The Irish Defence or the Irish Rangers, as we know it now, was established in the 80s. And its primarily role was counter-terrorism and special operations in its green role. So it has two roles. It's got a black role and a green role. Green role is your regular army stuff. Black role is your counter-terrorism stuff. And it still does that today. It's based in the Curragh Camp. Although in 2015, with the white paper on the Defence Forces, the strength of the ARW was to be increased. I don't know if it has been increased, but it is to be increased. So a brief history about the Defence Forces. So in the late 1960s, the Defence Forces established the Special Operations or Special Assault Groups, or SAGs, SAGs, in the Army to meet security challenges at the time with the border operations and things like that. A number of Irish Army officers were sent to the United States, where they completed the American Ranger School training, which is in Fort Benning in Georgia. Now, at the time in Fort Benning in Georgia, in the 60s, they wore green berets. The Rangers were a sort of a long-range patrol group, special forces. So that's where the green comes from in their berets, I believe. This is what I've been told. And the emerald green is obviously for Ireland behind the cap badge. Now this is another ranks or a cap badge where it's small, but it's darkened. It has been darkened compared to the stay brights that the regular army have. Now if this was an officer's one, it would cover that whole square, whereas it doesn't. So this is an enlisted ranger's cap badge. So, as I said, they were sent to the American Ranger School in Fort Benning in Georgia, and they completed the Army Ranger course. Then those officers came back to Ireland in 1969, and they ran their own selection courses and their own training courses in their battalions, companies, things like that. After that initial training in Fort Benning in Georgia, there was 40 Irish Ranger instructors, and those instructors then by the mid-70s had trained an estimated 300 Rangers in their companies, and they were being used, as I said, for special operations with the Garda Síochána, which is the Irish police, on border duties and things like that. Then in around 1977 the Guards introduced their own ERU, but it wasn't at the time. It was a small unit tactics, which was their armed unit. Then they became the Special Task Force, which later became the Emergency Response Unit. So what happened with the Irish Rangers? So the Irish Rangers basically decided, okay, we need to figure out what we're doing. So they went back to their green role and black role. So they do have an anti-terrorism role in Ireland. And it's more the military side of things. So the likes of these guys would be going after your high targets, IRA targets, things like that. Whereas the police sort of stick to the criminal underworld, whereas these lads are specifically for anti-terrorism. Then after Munich in 1972, with the massacre in Germany of the Israeli athletes, the Irish Rangers were sent away to do more counter-terrorism training, more CQB training and things like that. and then it was officially founded on the 16th of March 1980. The ARW received its colours, the black, the red and the gold, signifying security, risk and excellence. And in 1991 the ARW was granted permission to wear the green beret. So there you go. So they're a very, very secretive and elusive regiment, unit in the Irish Army to this day. There's possibly, I don't know because I've never served in the unit, but I believe from what I've heard from friends that have told me that have served in the unit, there's only roughly about 200 of them. Now they do and now I don't know with the new restructuring and stuff, but they did when I was in the military. They aligned themselves with the British SAS because you had a air troop, mobility troop, and a water troop. So you had 3 troops. Now I think they're gone to something similar, and with the increase now they want them to be companies. Whereas before I think they were only platoons, whereas now I think they're actually companies. They're still keeping the green beret as far as I know, and they're still keeping their Fignogluk badge. They're a very, very interesting unit. Their selection course is 4 weeks. Their initial selection course is 4 weeks. Seems to be an awful lot of hiking, packs and stuff, so it's geared a lot towards the SAS style of selection. After that then they do CQB and other aspects. From what I know, this beret was kindly given to me by a friend of mine who served in the unit, and even to try and get information out of him now, you can't. They don't talk about it. I just know he was in the unit, and he was overseas on a few trips with them. So there you go. I hope you like what we provide here at Air at Military Collectibles. Please like, please subscribe and please tune in for the next video. And as always, if you want to get in contact with the channel, there's an email at the top of the video description. And if you would like to contribute to the channel, there's also an Amazon wish list there as well. So thank you.